The Matrix is often misunderstood by people like Andrew Tate as a metaphor for political correctness or social control by liberal elites. This interpretation, however, misses the deeper critique of late-stage capitalism and the philosophical roots of simulation theory, where capitalist structures continuously create false realities that conceal the underlying truths of exploitation and inequality. Simulation theory, as developed by philosophers like Jean Baudrillard, posits that in the postmodern era, reality is replaced by simulations. What he calls simulacra are copies of things that no longer have an original. In this context, capitalism creates a hyperreal environment where images, signs, and symbols replace and distort our understanding of reality. These simulations become more real and influential than the actual conditions they represent, shaping our perceptions and experiences. Under capitalism, the system itself operates as a grand simulacrum, creating a grand false reality that obscures the true nature of social relations and economic structures. Every facet of our daily lives is mediated by these simulations, from work and the pay made by it, to products like food and water that we need to survive, and houses or rent prices. All in all, constructing a reality that serves the interests of the capitalist system, no matter your position within it. Money, for instance, is a prime example of a simulacrum. Originally a means of exchange, money has become an abstract symbol detached from real value. The global financial system, driven by speculative trading and the creation of financial derivatives, inflates the value of money and assets far beyond their tangible worth. This creates a hyperreal economy where market prices no longer reflect real-world conditions. The stock market, with its complex financial instruments and speculative trading, becomes a spectacle that distracts from the real labor and resources that underpin the economy. House prices offer another clear example of capitalist simulation. The value of real estate is driven by speculative investments and market manipulations rather than the actual utility or intrinsic value of the property. This creates a housing market that is detached from the reality of people's needs and the actual costs of building and maintaining homes. As a result, housing becomes unaffordable for many, while its market value soars, benefiting a small elite of investors and speculators. The media coverage of housing booms and busts further contributes to the spectacle, masking the underlying issues of affordability and access. To understand the matrix of capitalism, we must look at the global system of governance and political economy that supports it. Marxist theory critiques how state and global institutions serve the interests of the capitalist class. David Harvey emphasizes this in his works on neoliberalism and global capitalism, stating that the state redistributes wealth and power to the upper class through various means, including financialization, deregulation, and privatization. Institutions like the International Monetary Fund, World Bank, and World Trade Organization enforce neoliberal policies that prioritize market liberalization, deregulation, and privatization, benefiting multinational corporations and wealthy nations at the expense of the global working class. These institutions, through mechanisms such as debt imposition and structural adjustment programs, shape national economies to fit the needs of global capitalism. This creates a global system where wealth and power are concentrated in the hands of a few, while the majority are left to navigate an increasingly precarious and insecure existence. Guy Debord's concept of the spectacle is essential to understanding how capitalism perpetuates its simulations. The spectacle refers to the way in which social relations are mediated by images and commodities, creating a society where appearance and consumption dominate. This spectacle distracts people from the underlying realities of exploitation and inequality, keeping them focused on superficial desires and consumerism. Debord states, "The spectacle is not a collection of images, but a social relation among people, mediated by images. In the spectacle of capitalism, individuals are constantly bombarded with advertisements, social media, and consumer products, creating a hyperreal environment where the simulation of reality becomes more significant than reality itself. These spectacles reinforce capitalist ideologies, making it difficult for individuals to see beyond the immediate gratification of consumption to the broader systemic issues. Deleuze and Guattari's concept of desiring machines proposes that desire is not a lack or a need to be fulfilled, but a productive force that drives human behavior and social relations. Desiring machines are mechanisms through which desires are expressed and realized, constantly creating connections and producing reality. The body without organs represents a state of pure potentiality and unstructured desire, free from the constraints of societal norms and traditional structures. Deleuze and Guattari write, "Desiring machines work continuously without interruption, forming flows and breaks that shape our existence. In the context of the matrix, the simulated reality can be seen as a form of deterritorialization, where traditional social structures are dismantled, only to be re-territorialized in ways that fit the needs of the capitalist system. This creates a hyperreal environment where individuals are constantly bombarded with new desires and norms, making it difficult to break free from the capitalist logic that underpins their existence." The emphasis on consumption in late-stage capitalism creates a society where individuals are defined by their consumer choices. This focus on consumption serves to obscure the underlying relations of production and the exploitation that sustains the capitalist system. By creating false needs and desires, capitalism ensures a continuous cycle of consumption that benefits the ruling class. Herbert Marcuse's concept of one-dimensional thought is particularly relevant here. He argues that advanced industrial society creates a one-dimensional mode of thinking where critical thought is stifled and individuals are integrated into the existing system of production and consumption. This one-dimensional thought is reflected in the simulated reality of the matrix, where individuals are kept docile and compliant through the fulfillment of superficial desires. Louis Althusser's concept of ideological state apparatuses, or ICEs, also sheds light on the mechanisms through which the capitalist system perpetuates itself. ICEs include institutions like education, media, and religion that shape individuals' beliefs and values, ensuring the compliance with the dominant ideology. In the matrix, the simulated reality can be seen as an eyesight that shapes individuals' perceptions and experiences to align with the needs of the capitalist system. By creating a hyperreal environment where individuals are constantly bombarded with images and spectacles, the system ensures that they remain focused on superficial desires and distractions, rather than questioning the deeper structures of power and exploitation. Understanding capitalism as a simulation highlights the importance of critical awareness. To break free from the simulated reality and uncover the underlying truths, individuals must develop a critical consciousness that challenges the dominant ideology and questions the structures of power that shape their lives. This involves recognizing how the capitalist system manipulates desires and perceptions to maintain its dominance, and seeking ways to resist and transform these structures. In conclusion, the matrix should be understood as a profound critique of the ways in which late-stage capitalism creates a simulated reality that obscures the truths of exploitation and domination. Capitalism itself is the simulation perpetuating a false reality that benefits the few at the expense of the many. By critically examining the ideological structures that shape our everyday lives, we can begin to dismantle the hyperreal environment created by capitalism and work towards a more just and equitable society. Thank you for watching The Left Library. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more simplified insights into political philosophy, political economy, and political science. Let's continue to learn and grow together.